What's going on, Christina? What's happening? What's happening? We're here. We finally made it. Yes, we're here to have, I say, one of the most popular topics out there that entrepreneurs need, which is how do people know they exist and how do they know what they actually represent. So do me a favor, Christina. We sent your bio out, which is very extensive, very detailed. They get to hear the story, but other folks are watching for the very first time. They're like, Shay, who is Christina? Shay, what is Christina up to? So why don't you go and share with them, please?
All right. I'd love to. Well, first of all, thank you, Shay, for having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
I saw the show first time when I watched my friend Faith Jones be on, and you have a new fan. So I'll be on here watching every week.
Thank you.
What I do, I am an image and interior style expert, meaning I'm an interior designer and an image consultant, and I help people with their visual brand, how you show up in the world, and how that correlates to your brand, your business as entrepreneurs, and to make sure that what you want people to think is what they actually think when they see you. That first impression is so important.
You know, I agree with you right there. Now, can I just ask a question? We're in the green room, okay? So don't take it personal. Please don't take it personal. But visual branding means different things to different people, right? And so people might be wondering, are we going to talk about a green versus a blue color versus a red color? So can you take a moment and just tell us, what is your definition of visual branding and why it's so relevant today, like right now for where we are in the world, more than any other time?
Yep. Well, for me, the way I define visual branding is, you know, all brands tell a story, and great brands are great storytellers. But this here, our style is our silent ambassador. So how you come across, that first impression when you present yourself, that is your visual brand, how you put yourself out there. So how you look, how you're dressed, of course, your hair, but also everything that is attached to you, anything that is associated with you. And so is your environment, obviously. You know, either it's brick and mortar and you're in an office, or it is in this format, which most of us have spent the last couple of months virtually. And I think virtually has made life easier in many ways, but it's also made that whole branding harder because you have a smaller format to move around and you have less chances to impact it. So super important to work with the box.
Work with the box. And you said work with the box and why it's important. And I know we get started in a few minutes. We're going to get into that. Kelvin, don't worry about that. Beth, I see you. Okay, we'll get to that. But I'm curious. You mentioned Faith James and her willingness to at least connect you and I together. Take a moment, if you would, and answer a two-part question. Number one, the importance of collaboration, because we're here now because she was willing to open up her doors and collaborate at a time when some folks are holding near, like, I don't want to share who I know and what's going on. She's willing to collaborate, and then talk about that from a branding perspective, the importance of collaborating with other brands that might have the same mission, goals, and objectives.
Yeah, super important. And Faith is one of these people, you know, connectors. The more the merrier, and she wants to share the love. And I was fortunate to come into her sphere. With brands, you know, working together, cooperating in this time, because, you know, no one is an island. We can't do this on our own. We've noticed that. And to help each other to widen our networks, to meet the new people that we don't already know. You can only do that by collaborations with others. So, and what with branding, since I work more on the outer parts and the visual parts, she works more on the actual brand aspects and how you build your business. So together we've worked great with clients and helping each other out that way. So any collaboration like that collaboration is a hard word to say for.
She's from Sweden, and she'll get into that a little later on for those folks out there. Gwendolyn, thanks for joining us down there, I believe in North Carolina. Carmela Spikes Williams, thanks for joining us so much. We appreciate it, by the way. Carol, it's always a pleasure for all of you tuning in. You're in for a treat. I know we got to get going. We've got a show. But we come back, you're going to learn not only about visual branding, but she promised at least give you 3 steps, 3 things you can do that can help your brand. Don't worry, I asked her for a 4th one. Don't worry, we'll ask her for a 4th one. It'll be a bonus one. Shh. But with that being said, we got to get going. Y'all know how we like to do it. We got to get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's showtime. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission, and our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you the entrepreneur, you the one watching, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you, not me, but you were called to serve. And I always like to share when we get started, there are 3 visions that I believe you have, 3 visions. I believe first you have a vision for yourself. Like right now, the way you want to live, the home you want to be in, by the way, the car you want to go driving down the road. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. Yeah, you got that. And then the second vision you have is you have a vision for your loved ones, the ones you care the most about, the ones that you want to send to a college of your choice. It takes resources. Or if you're like me, today with Mother Dear, I had the opportunity to pick her up and take her to the hairdresser. She lives 15 minutes away. She's 74 years old. Love taking her there, hanging out with her. Of course, she's really good at Amazon right now. She's good at ordering on Amazon. How many of y'all know it takes a credit card? It takes some revenue to take care of those resources. But it's not about me. It's about you. Maybe you want to write a check for someone's health care insurance. So you want to make a difference. It takes that revenue. And then the third vision I believe you have is you have a vision for all the people you were called to serve. And I want you to imagine, I would talk about Noah in the Bible. I love to share this story, and you don't have to be a believer, but please tune in. Imagine that you're Noah in the Bible, and you're on a mission, and you've been given this vision. God's giving you the experience. He's giving you the expertise. You're ready to rock rolling. And before you get going, there's a knock at the door. You're like, what's going on? Noah, we don't have any hammers. Okay, cool. No hammers, so what? Big deal. What's going on now? I might as well report, no hammers, we don't have any nails. No hammers, no nails, it's all good. Now, how many of you know it's that third knock at the door? What's up? Noah, there's no wood and no people. Good luck on this mission. Whoa, that's a little serious. And maybe that's you right now. You're ready, but nobody knows who you are, so you got to make sure your brand is there. They're seeing you, but they're not seeing the value that you're not charging what you're worth because they don't see the value when they connect with you. Well, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, you got the one and only Christina. She's in the house to talk about visual branding. What's going on, Christina? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Shay. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Look, let me address the elephant in the room. Thanks for being here. But the elephant in the room is, what's the challenge holding entrepreneurs back from building a brand or having visual branding? It can't be the first time they heard about it. Like, if you're a business owner, whether you're green or you're very experienced, they may have heard about branding. What's holding them back year after year after year of this not getting this thing right?
Well, from my standpoint and from visual branding, the problem is often that we spend so much time studying and getting good at our craft and working hard at our business, and we forget how we show up. And then there comes first impression. And sometimes, 85% of first impression is based on how you look. So sometimes we don't even get the chance to open our mouths and present ourselves and our brilliant ideas because we are judged ahead of time. And I think you work hard and you feel that the visual aspect, it's not as important, and it's a little frou-frou, and it's not, who cares about that? I'm not that shallow. But really, we all judge. We can't help it. It's human nature. And subconsciously, we might dismiss someone just because they don't look the part, or the environment doesn't look the part. And yeah.
Now, what do you say to the folks out there? They're entrepreneurs. They're listening right now. And the one question they might have on their mind is, well, Shay, before Faith tells us, in fact, he's saying Faith, sorry, before Kristina tells us all this good stuff and gives me 3 secrets, how did she find herself into this? Now, if you didn't read the bio, it's cool, because I'm going to ask her to give you a little bit of the narrative of the backstory, right? So you understand she didn't just watch a YouTube video and decide, well, let me show up and show you what I learned on YouTube today, right? No. So can you take a minute? We'll slow down for a second and tell us a little about your backstory that led you to where you are today, please.
Yeah, thank you. Well, everything I did led to where I am, I feel. I started my first career. Well, I grew up in fashion. My mom and my grandmother before her had retail stores, women's retail boutiques. So I kind of grew up in the clothing fashion world, which I love, which was super fun. But then my first career was in marketing and advertising. So the whole building a brand and, positioning it in the marketplace, that's what I was doing. And then I went back to college to study interior design, second time around, because that was really a passion and it started as a hobby and a passion. And I have been an interior designer for 15 years. But along the way, I often heard from clients after we finish our projects that, oh my God, I wish you could just fix me so I look as good as my house. And that kind of inspired me to say, well, you know what? I should really take that to heart. So then I certified as an image consultant to kind of tie it all together, because we are, and a lot of the same rules apply for environments and for us as people and objects as well. So now I feel like it's because it all goes hand in hand. We don't live in a bubble. We don't get dressed in a bubble. It all comes together.
It all comes together. So share with us at least one idea. One idea for someone that's listening right now, and folks that are listening right now, that's a loaded question. So, share one of the ideas that someone could do to actually enhance their visual branding. And folks that tune in right now, a lot of these are speakers, they're authors, they're coaches, they're trainers, they're network marketers, they're in service-based business, and then others are professionals. And they're like, well, Shay, will this apply to me? Well, yeah, I'm going to ask for at least 3 or 4 ideas. So please share one idea that we can use in order to enhance our visual branding.
So the most important thing of all, and where it all starts, is to identify your personal brand attributes. And what I mean with that is it's as simple as picking 3 adjectives that you want to have describing you and your business. So for instance, I might say, well, I want people to think that I am successful, experienced, and elegant. That's what I want my brand to be, and that's what I want people to think when they see me. Or maybe they want me to, I want them to think I am bold, youthful, and hungry. That's my brand. But the important thing is to know what those attributes are, because otherwise you might show up all over the place. And if we show up all over the place, we're not consistent, and we all know how important consistency is. And when we're not consistent, we don't build trustworthiness. And as entrepreneurs, being trustworthy is key. So take some time, pick those 3 attributes. What is you want people to think? And then from there, that's going to be your checklist for everything, how you show up, how your environment shows up. But that's where it all starts.
And does that checklist change over time as you develop as a business owner, or maybe as you mature as a business owner? Because I'm just curious. I don't know, but please share with us.
Absolutely. It will, as we change as people, as we grow, so does our personalities. And of course, the attributes will change. When you're starting out as a younger entrepreneur or younger professional, you will be more, you can't have all the experience, can't be one of your attributes because you're not there yet. But you'll have other great things. You can be hungry. You can be, useful. Yeah. So it's of course, it's constantly, over time, it's going to change. It's organic, but you can't be elegant and sophisticated one day and bohemian and spiritual the other. Those two, you got to know where you are and show up consistently.
So first is know who you are. Now, do you recommend that folks, how do you know when it's time to check in? I know we're going to get to two other pieces, by the way, but how do you know when it's time to kind of check in and say, okay, these are the attributes I have. Are they still relevant today? Is it something that I should do once a year, once every couple years? Or, what do you kind of, as you're sharing and working with your clients, I mean, how do you know when it's time to double check those attributes? Or I'm just curious, maybe there isn't a time. I don't know.
Well, sometimes you feel it as you grow as a person, but sometimes when you changed your work situation, maybe you're starting a new business, checking in with that, that's a good time to check in and see, are my, what I displayed before, is that still where I want to be? Or is this new opportunity, will that take me elsewhere? And should I show up slightly different?
Was there a time in your life, and we'll get to the other two, that did you made a shift? Like, do you recall where one set of attributes was here and today they're different? And if so, we'll give you a chance to brag on yourself. So, when people think of Christina, and maybe it's not, I don't want to put you on a seat, but I'm just curious, have you changed from one attribute to now another attribute is more important? Because I would think the priorities could shift. Maybe I had these three, and now this one is better than the three. I don't know, but I am very curious. So what was attribute maybe in the past for Christina? And then what's Christina's attribute today? And we see you, what should we be thinking?
Well, I mean, an obvious one was at one point I was a very young for my age professional. So I was the young and hungry and ambitious. And today I've done what I do for a long time. So today I'm definitely more of the experience.
I'm still the young, hungry guy that I always was. I'm hungry, I'm humble, and I'm still hustling. But no, you're right. I do get it. Thanks for sharing. For you out there, do me a favor. You can pay this message forward. You don't have to hold this message to yourself. Christina came to share. She came to serve. She came to add value. She's got another 2 in the can, but don't worry. We're going to get the bonus one. I don't know what it is, but she's going to give you a bonus one, by the way. Don't worry. But do me a favor. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button right now. And when you hit that share button, pay the message forward, Nikki. Pay the message forward, Gwendolyn. Pay the message forward, Amika. Pay the message forward, Carol. Marianne, what's up in the house? And when you see that thing pop up, the little window that pops up, then go ahead and put visual branding is important. And just put hashtag Krina Persona. Did I get that right? Kristina Pernfors. Did I get that?
Now, everyone tries to make it more complicated than it is. It's not as fancy. It's Pernfors.
Oh, Pernfors. I don't know why I kept saying that. Pernfors. I've been practicing, and I still couldn't get it right. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting better. Pernfors. Pernfors. Hit that button. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Pay it forward right now. Help another entrepreneur. We believe in the giver's economy. The person outgives the competition will, in fact, out-earn the competition. The person outgives them will out-earn them. All right, Christina, give us the second thing that we can do in order to build our visual brand.
Well, they all build on the first one. Mm-hmm. So the second natural thing to do is take that checklist and look at yourself, how you show up, and ask yourself, we all have the mornings, at least I know us ladies, I know men have it too, but we might have it more frequently, where we go, I have no idea what to wear. I don't know. What should I wear? Always make sure that you show up and check it against your checklist, your attributes, how you show up. If you feel I have no idea, then ask someone you know. Ask them, if you were to describe me, what 3 adjectives would you pick? But check yourself, make sure that everything that is, as I said, attached to you are an extension of who you are. Make sure it checks off your checklist. That way you know you're consistent. And that way you know you're showing up on brand.
Now, people probably looking at you and they're probably thinking, she's always been perfect. Shay, she looking at her, she's so perfect. Like she's always showed up on brand. She knows her characteristic. She knows her attributes. She's checking in, make sure everything is right. Ask her, Shay, when was the time where she tried something and it didn't work out? And then what lesson did she learn from it? Now, if you didn't have that problem, just say, Shay, I've never had that problem, and we'll all understand. But if you have, for those folks that are out there and they're watching and hitting the share button, thank you all that have hit that share button. We appreciate it. You're helping someone else. That's your digital applause. Your digital applause, hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. So someone else, and Christina, again, is okay with this. You can put it into your private Facebook group, and this is nothing but value coming from her today. All right. Talk to us about a time where you tried something in visual branding and it didn't work out, and how you were able to learn from it.
Well, I think we all can get persuaded by other people that don't know us well. And I think, it's happened many times. You go into a store and you have this salesperson who says, you look fabulous. You go, really? Okay. And you come home and you go, what was I thinking? This is so not me. Or you go on vacation and you buy something that's great in Mexico and it comes back to home and it's not as exotic and great. So I think, but I've always been pretty bold and kind of taken some chances. I had purple hair, might not have been the best choice, but yeah, you learn from your mistakes and you move on.
Yeah. So true. I had hair one time at one point as well, by the way. But that's okay. No, I'm joking with you. It's so important. Look, for those folks that are out there, listen to the one and only Christina. She talked about something that's very important. One of the ways to attract new clients, one of the ways to be paid more and make sure you're getting your value is to make sure the visual brand represents that. And so take a moment and give us a third idea. I know we said we'd give you 3 secrets, 3 ideas that folks can use. For those folks that are out there like Monique that's out there right now, for those folks that are watching, look right below the video, and just write those words. Visual branding is important. Don't take it off the map. I know you're talking about technology right now. You're talking about Facebook ads, and you're talking about a website. You're talking about all this other stuff. But without the visual branding, well, it kind of sits there. All right. What's one more idea you have over there?
So with checklist in mind as well, let's move on to our environment, because where we are in this box right here, our virtual environment, we spend a lot of time here lately. And I don't think that's going away. I think the Zooms are here to stay because it can be efficient. But I have been on so many Zoom calls where people have completely disregarded their backdrop. And this can be your billboard. This can be prime advertising space right here if you do it right. So again, just make sure that your environment around you is representative of your brand. Check on that. If I am coming across, want to come across as an expert on what I do and successful, it can't look like a hot mess behind me. Same thing, I see too many, unfortunately. I see it on CNN and the news channels as well. It's completely blank behind you. And that just doesn't show me anything of who you are. And in today's society too, our attention span and that quickness to judge is so fast that you really got to utilize the space that you have. But the good thing is it's a very controlled environment. Who cares what goes on behind or on the sides? But this, utilize your billboard right here. You can really work to your advantage. And then if you're in a physical space, if you're in a brick and mortar, make sure, again, is it representative of your brands? I mean, I've walked into law offices that look like a hot mess, and I'm supposed to give them a big chunk of my money? No. So it's just make sure that, because everything about you speaks. It's all going to be part of how people see you and what you stand for in your business.
I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. And, you know, as you're talking over there about the importance of visual branding, and you talked about this online component, if you would, and being able to do it. Is there a certain way that someone should dress when they're doing this? I mean, do they have to have a suit and tie on, for example, which I don't have right now, obviously? You know, what's your perspective on that for folks that are listening, saying, man, sometimes I wear the same thing over and over again. Do I have to have a different outfit? Shay, she's on there. Just ask her, please. And so I'm going to ask her, what are her thoughts on how you're presenting yourself online? And she talked about Zoom, which we're doing right now.
I think, I mean, it all depends on what your business is, what your profession is. If you are in a profession where suit and tie is the norm, you probably should show up in a suit and a tie. But if it's not, no, of course you don't have to do that. It's all, again, what is your brand? What is your business? That's how you should show up. Now, when it comes to online and the virtual, yes, there are certain things, but those are more, you know, technical things. You shouldn't have things that are too glaring, and beware of glasses and things. Background shouldn't be too glary, but those are more, you know, practical things. But otherwise, no, there's no right and wrong with showing up, as long as you are representative of your brand and yourself.
Love it. What's going on? Danita's out there. Danita Evans is in the house. Faith James is in the house. They're all in the house right now. They're cheering for you. They're tuning in. She said, yes, you got a shout out, Faith. There's your shout out, Faith James. You got the shout out for being a connector. And by the way, she's in the house. She said, I'm not going to miss this. Hey, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for connecting us together, by the way. All right, you gave us 3 really good ideas. Really good ideas. And I feel like I'm being selfish to ask for one more. But I'm sensing out there, folks like visual branding. She's there. She's tuned in. So asking for one more, just one more idea that we can use to help really highlight the brand so we can attract the clients that we want. We can serve the people we want, and we can make $1 and a difference at the same time.
Well, I mean, it's all, again, we base it on who you are and what you, where you want to go. You can always learn more about yourself, meaning what looks good on me with my hair shape, my face shape, or my body shape. When you can always learn. So I think learning, any day you learn something new about yourself is a good day, right? And who is more important to learn about than you? Got to live with yourself every day. So I think try to figure out, and either, you know, I'm sure there's tons of information on YouTube, but you can also ask professional or reach out to me. I'll gladly give you some pointers for free, absolutely. But try to learn what works for you, for your personal characteristics, and that is so valuable, because that takes the guessing game out of this whole closet trauma we all end up in sometimes. So just learn what really works for me.
There you have it. Easy to do, easy not to do, but very simple tips. And she didn't say you needed some software to do this, by the way. She didn't say you could buy some monthly program to do this. She said, these are some things that you can do now. When? Now. And if you're ready to make a difference in the world, do me a favor. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. And just write those words. Now is the time. Now is the time to step your visual branding up. Now is the time to be seen in the way that attracts the clients you want. Now is the time. And Christina is the person.
A way to when you leave your house, or if you're ready to get on a call, look at yourself in the mirror and ask, would I hire me? Would I buy from me? And if the question is no, or the answer is no, then you can tweak something. But it's a good check before you get out there.
I love that. I love that. I'm looking down into the camera and saying, would you buy me? Would you buy me? Matter of fact, why don't you ask yourself that question? Would you buy me? Would you right now buy me? Now I get it. You might be in your pajamas right now, okay? Some of you right now because you're watching from the comforts of your home, but you're there and you're here, and we certainly appreciate it. We're moving to a segment now called Today's My January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing it for the very first time, tune in. You're in for a treat. For those folks that know what I'm about to do, you can look right below the video, and write those words. Today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. And just to give you a little narrative, today is my January 1st represents one of those moments throughout the day where you can make a decision. And the decision can change your life. So you don't wait for January the 1st to show on a calendar. People counting down to January 1st. Not us. Every day is a January 1st. We create those January 1st moments. In fact, Happy New Year to you, by the way. Happy New Year. If it sounds funny, don't worry. Feel it, feel it, feel it. And so it's a do-over. It's a fresh start. It's your past does not equal the future. My question to Christina is that when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what goes through your mind? What do you hear?
Well, as entrepreneurs, isn't every day January 1st?
Yeah.
Because we can't live in limbo. Every day is a chance to start over or learn something new or grow or make another dollar. But every day, there shouldn't be any, oh, let's do that next week, or when I get to X, Y, and Z, then I'm going. No. Today's the day. There's no time like the present. So I'm not a big New Year's resolution, or I'm trying to set goals, but I think too much is hung up on that. Oh, now it should start. That's the date, and that's when so many fail, because that date might not be a good day for things. I work at a local gym, and I teach fitness classes, and we have so many new members in January. They leave us by end of February. But it's sad, and I see that with clients too. I see a lot, especially my style clients, that say, oh, I am gonna change my style, I'm gonna do all this work when I lose 10 pounds or when I lose 20 pounds. But life is what happens when we're busy making plans. So it's today. We don't know about tomorrow, but we know about today. So every day is January 1st.
Every day is January 1st. You mentioned a really good point, and that is the importance of being consistent. And you may have heard me say this before, but sometimes there's truth inside of truisms. And I always like to share that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. But having said that, what do most of us struggle with? Myself, I got two hands. I'm not by myself. It's consistency. And so my question to Christina is, how do you #stay the course? How do you be consistent and make sure your branding is consistent and you're delivering a consistent message over and over and over again? What's your secret?
Well, for my clients and for my work, it's making sure, you know your attributes, check your checklist. If you're consistent with it, if you've checked all the boxes, you are consistent by default. But for life, I think it's just everyday little habits. It's a great book called Atomic Habits. I forget his name, but it's just talking about those little minor tweaks you can do every day that will lead to, if you do it enough times, it's a new habit. And it doesn't then feel like a chore. It's just part of life. So I just try to incorporate a little, not try to squeeze it all into one day, not try to change the world in one day. Or change your.
I love it. They say people form habits and habits form futures. So the question is, what are your predominant habits as it relates to visual branding? What type of clients right now does your firm even consider working with? So for someone out there watching right now, they might be like, well, okay, Shay, this is cool. So I want you to listen like, is this for me? And then others kind of listen for, how can I share her with someone else that I may know? So the question to her is, what type of clients does your firm work with today? What's the ideal client? And then how can they best connect with you in your office?
That's a great question. So my ideal clients are entrepreneurs who want to make sure they have an integrated brand, meaning how they show up and how their environment shows up. I can help them with all. But I have a lot of clients that are style clients only or interior clients only. Very often do we end up kind of mixing the two, or they're coming back for other things. But I work with a lot since the pandemic. I work with a lot of my clients virtually, and we all learned something new in 2020. And I've learned that we decorate people's house virtually. That works.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, that was a big takeout for me this year, and that you got to make it happen, and when you make it happen, it works.
Said so well. So for those folks out there, again, tell them how can they best connect with you? Where can they go?
To email me or Christina with a K, Christina, and my company's name at aesthetics, which is a hard word to spell, aestheticsandstyle.com. Or you can message me on Facebook through Kristina Pernfors, or on Instagram, handle K Pernfors.
It might be a hard word to spell, but they know exactly what it is. They can say it over and again. Aesthetic styles. I love it. That is like super on point. We're moving to a segment now called Rapid Fire. And for those folks that are at home want to know what that means that we get to have this banter that goes back and forth. I get to ask any question on top of my mind, and Christina can answer it, or she can pass it on. Now, here's what's really cool. She never gave me a list of questions and said, Shay, you must stay in this box. You must ask these questions right here. She said, Shay, let's just have a conversation. Let's talk to the everyday entrepreneur, just like me, Shay, and just like you, and you're in the field every day. And if that's you, you pay this forward to another entrepreneur that's just like you. Whether you're working full-time jobs and you're full-time entrepreneur, so you're a dualpreneur, whether you do it full-time, it doesn't matter. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Like, hit it right now. If you hit it before, hit it again. Now, I know if you listen to the podcast, you can't do it. But if you can do it, do it. Do it now. Do it now. Pay it forward. My question to you is one of my favorite I like to ask over and over again, which is, of all the mentors you've had along this journey of life, you had so many mentors. What's one of the lessons you learned from any one of your mentors that you're going to share with us that can help us in our life? And you at home, as you're listening right now, know that you may never meet this mentor, but you take the lesson that Christina is passing on to you. What's the lesson you've learned?
Well, I think I mentioned it already, but my shout out again to Faith James. This is something she put words to something that I had in my head. But she says, everything about you speaks. And it's so true in all types of branding, but in life in general, because how you show up to your friends too speaks loudly. If you're someone who's constantly late, or someone who constantly cancels, or if you're on time and on point and always someone that has someone else's back, that speaks loudly about you as well. So everything about you speaks, your actions and how you present yourself. But I thought that was such a great way of putting it. So
love it. What's your big why? Why do you do what you do these days?
I think I am a teacher at heart. I think I have always wanted to pass on knowledge. And I anytime that I can, you see the light bulb go off in someone else's eyes and go, oh my God, I get it. That to me is the best day in the office. So if I can just help, I think life is just too short to not show up to your full potential. I mean, and we can't compare ourselves to each other because I can only do me and you can only do you. But if I can help my clients do themselves in the best possible way, and that they feel like $1 million, then that's the best gift I can get. And I say, when my clients don't need me anymore, that's when I've truly done my job, because they're like, oh, we know this. I know what works. This is on brand. I was like, great, my job here is done.
How do you handle being out of your own comfort zone? I know whenever I have these conversations, and they're perfect conversations, talking about visual branding, it could be uncomfortable. I know it's been uncomfortable for me before, so I had to have trust. And so, because you're like, I would never do that way. And they're like, that's why I'm telling you, because you don't see it, right? You see it, but we don't see, right? And so my question is, how do you expand your comfort zone? How do you be uncomfortable but still take action? How do you be fearful? We were talking before this, and you said, "Shay, I was a ski instructor." I said, "Oh, she don't know. I was scared to death before I first started skiing, but I was young then, so I did it because everybody else was doing it." So my question to you is, how do you overcome your fears to do things that you're kind of afraid of doing?
That's a great question, and it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think as parents, I have 2 kids, and now when they're teenagers, they're watching, and they don't always do as we tell them to, but they're definitely watching. So I think that pushes me to get out of my comfort zone more, to kind of be a good example of course you can do it, honey. Well, you didn't do it. Oh, okay. So to really make sure that you the eyes are on you. So that is that little extra push to fly out of the nest.
Yeah. Now, sometimes the question comes up, I know, branding, marketing. When you're asked, like, what's the difference, if there is a difference, I don't know if there is or not. We'll get your view of the world. So when you hear branding and marketing, how do you differentiate those two in your own mind? If someone's listening, it's like, all right, do I need marketing or do I need branding for myself? And I don't know, so I thought I would ask you what your view of the world is between branding and marketing.
Aren't you a smart man? No, the way I see it is you can market something you haven't branded. In order to market anything, there needs to be a brand. So branding was what's first, chicken or the egg. You got to have something in order to marketing is getting it out there. Making sure that people know what you have to offer. But in order to do that, you got to have something to offer. Did that make sense?
Okay, sorry about that. My thing went to mute real quick there. Thanks so much for understanding. I certainly appreciate that. These things happening with technology. My next question that I have for you is, imagine that you're talking to someone who's very, very new. And they're not new to life, but they're new to business because of what's going on in the world today. They're now getting in business. And they're like, well, what advice would you give someone like me that has business experience and I kind of intellectually get it, but I can't, what steps would they take for me so people understand that I have a good brand and I am visually appealing? Now, you did a lot of it earlier, but let's just step back for a moment. And we're almost coming down the home stretch. What advice would you give someone that's just getting started? They're like brand new. They're like, wow, where do I even start?
Well, I think it's just start with clarity. Start knowing, identify what, it doesn't matter if you've been in business one day or years, as long as you're clear on what it is you're doing, what is your business. Clarity from the start makes everything so much easier along the way. Than the branding part, visual and business branding is so much easier. But just be clear. Don't be, I'm going to do a little bit of this and there's going to be a little of that and I'll sprinkle a little of this. Just be clear. And it's not rocket science. It's just,
very clear.
What it is you're doing.
I love it. Regina's out there. She says she's in Buffalo, New York, by the way. She's chiming in and watching right now. And just like you and others, folks have children out there. And they're like, all right, how does she juggle her time, right? Like, how does she prioritize? Like, listen to the branding thing, but they're like, how does she able to do all this stuff she says to do? So share one or two of your, I don't know if it's time management, I don't know if it's time choices, but share, how do you be able to do all this and still be this cool mom and do other things? So what's your secret to juggling all the stuff you got to do?
Hi, manager. I try to schedule. I like a good schedule. I think that helps me, but also for my own personal things, like I like to go to the gym or have time for exercise or time with friends, super important. But you gotta book it in like a meeting. You gotta make sure it's in the calendar. That way, just like work or Zoom meetings or whatever it is. And the same thing with the kids stuff. You know, if you need to do things with the kids that are important to them, it's got to go into the time manager. It just as important as work.
I love it. Take a moment, if you would. You talked about time management and the importance of that. I want you to talk a little bit about mindset and maybe affirmations you tell yourself or things you tell yourself to keep yourself going. The reason I say that is a couple of months ago, you talked about time management, and Regina, I think, was right on point. Mike is out there watching. Thanks a lot. Alicia Robinson, you're at the right place right now, at the right person, talking to the person that talks about branding, by the way. But the question came up, and this is why I'm getting to mindset. The person called in and said, Shay, and this was in the beginning of where we are now in this health pandemic, but they said, Shay, I've got a lot going on. I'm now staying home full-time and working at home. I'm a full-time wife. I'm a full-time mom. I'm now a full-time school teacher. Oh, by the way, I'm a full-time administrator because they've got to turn their homework in, and I've got to be the one to make sure it gets done. And oh, by the way, I'm a full-time cook because I've not been in a cafeteria worker in a long, long time, and I'm starting my business. So a lot's going on that's driving me insane, and that might not be you listening right now, but you can still benefit from this question, which is, what does she feed her mindset? What are some thoughts or affirmations she tells herself to stay focused, to stay consistent, to do what she's doing right now? Talk about mindset and the importance of it.
That's something I've always struggled with a little bit. And I think it might be a culture thing too. Mm-hmm. Affirmations and things like that is not something us Swedes ever kind of learned or grew up with. We kind of roll up your sleeves and work kind of people. But I think what I try to tell myself every day is that perfect is not the goal. Mm-hmm. Don't try to make, and when we have a lot of things to juggle, balance, there's no such thing as balance. It is sometimes some things are going to take more time and other things are going to take more time. Just accept that. But perfect by no means is never the goal. So when I feel that I haven't done something to the extent that I wanted to do it, or the outcome wasn't quite as perfect as I wanted it, I just try to tell myself, you know what? You did it. It's not perfect, but it's done.
I love that. For those folks out there, hit the share button right now. Hit the watch party button right now. You can pay this message forward to someone else. And when you hit the share button, just write, perfect is not the goal. Just put that down. And if you're watching right now, you can look right below the video. You can write those words. Perfect is not the goal. Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Like do that right now. Like even as you and I are talking right now, hit that button right now and pay this message forward to someone else. Perfect is what? Not the goal. You got to show up sometime. As we're talking and we're having this conversation around visual branding, take a moment and talk about the importance of colors. Now, I know we're back. We're almost done. We're like in overtime right now, but we're chit-chatting. She's hanging out. So I'm going to say, hey, talk about the importance of making sure that there's color if that's involved and why that's so important in the visual brand, because it's about yourself, but then it's about how you present yourself. So are there different ideas you have around using colors for branding?
Well, when it comes to branding for, logos and all that, that's a completely different thing. But for yourself, and it's not just, it's for everyone. These are not things that we learn in school, and yet these are things that, we need to make decisions on every day. Knowing your best family of colors makes a huge difference in how, you want to make sure you show up to your full potential, the best possible you. And just knowing your best family of colors and what really works best for you takes so much guesswork out of it. And it really, that when I learned that, I mean, it just took so much weight off me. It's like, oh God, that's why all that stuff that I have in the closet is never used. It's completely wrong for me. Yeah, you shop way less when you know what works for you.
Really? Is that possible?
Absolutely. I my clients often tell me, my style clients, they go, yeah, I try to go shopping again. And then I had you on my shoulder saying, no, that's not your color. That's not on brand. That's not. So yeah, no. But you know, less is more.
Hold on. I'm calling my wife now. Wait. I think you need to be on her shoulder. Wait. Hold on. I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, but that's so true. I didn't know that. That's like pretty cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's pretty cool to do. Well, you know, I tell you what, I'm enjoying it. This is the second to last question as we're coming down the home stretch. I know I've said that 3 times already, but it's so important. So what does Christina do for fun when she's not out saving the world, making a difference for someone else?
What do I do for fun? Well, I do like to exercise. It's a big part of, it's kind of, people often ask if I meditate. I don't. I run. That's kind of my
yay for us runners. I'm a runner. Yay.
So that's where I get a lot of my best ideas. I get running, and it's also walking sometimes. But I love exercise. I love to cook. That's also, I don't see it as stressful for me. It's kind of that's kind of when I unload. Have a glass of wine, cook, watch some TV, listen to music. Love doing that. Yeah, but I mean, it might sound like a cliche, but I really love what I do. Mm-hmm. So I often do that on my time off too. Yeah.
Well, you know, they say an entrepreneur's light is never out, by the way. It's always on. And folks are looking saying, man, Shay, did she plan to have those candles back there? Are those real? Well, yeah, those are real candles back there. Tell us the thought process behind having candles while we're talking. I know maybe they were lit by accident. I don't know. I'm just saying. But they look so calming. So I mean, okay. Deborah McDuffie's out there watching. Rosa is out there watching right now. They're out there. They're comment looking below. So tell us the significance of having candles and why you decided to have those there. I mean, they're curious. I'm curious. I know we're done. We're just, ladies and gentlemen, you're just like eavesdropping right now. I'm asking the question because you're asking the question. We're out of here in a few minutes. You're like, Shay, how long do they going to go? We're out in a moment. But you want to know about the candles? I got to ask about the candles. I mean, you don't mind me asking about the candles, do you?
Absolutely not. So the candles are not real. No worries.
They look real. They were like, Shay, are those candles still burning?
I love these. I have them all over my house. I love them. But candles and lighting is super important. And for this, you know, from a Zoom setting or for virtual, it's just gives a little bit of light without being glary. But since this is my living room, for our house, it's really kind of a mood setter. It's really calming with a lot of lights or you know, real lights, but these are as close to the real thing as you can get, as close to candle lights as you can get. So that's why it's just mood setting.
See, y'all asked, she answered. Oh my gosh, you're just playing full out. Like, you're a rock star. You love it. Once again, thanks so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. You're amazing. You're incredible. It's all about visual branding. And this has been a lot of fun. I mean, sometimes you do these conversations and it's just not fun. But this has been really fun, by the way. I'd like for you, if you can, tell the folks once again how they can best connect with you. You're a rock star. You have a heart to serve. You have a heart to give. And then maybe share your closing thoughts. I asked her if she would do it. Sometimes folks say they can't do it because they're busy. She said, no, I'll share my final thoughts for all the entrepreneurs who tuned in, took time away from doing something else to be right here with you right now. You, here's how you participate. Here's how you give a digital applause. Here's how you say, yes, just hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. And pay this message forward to another little girl or another little boy or a big girl or a big boy that's out there right now that's like, you know what? This is the message I needed right now. I've got to raise my standards. And part of doing that is to raise my brand and still be who I am. One of the things I loved about this whole conversation is she kept saying the integrity is inside of you. She didn't say go get a green thing or a red thing or a blue thing or a yellow thing or you've got to be someone. She says it's inside of you. It's the attributes that are inside of you. That's the foundation. So important. All right, take a moment if you would, and please go ahead and share your closing comments. Anika is here, and she says she's in the house. She wants you to know she's in the house. Anika, how many times? Anika with string says I'm in the house. Catherine Marie Ross says I'm in the house. Okay, I wish I could shout everybody out, but I told her you're in the house. They say good job, by the way. They're watching right now.
Thank you, guys. Well, as a closing thought, just something I heard recently that I think is true to so many, and since I am in the visual, kind of the surface industry, as entrepreneurs, and especially over the last year when a lot of people have struggled, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, oh, I got to put myself last because everything else has to come ahead of me. But I feel sometimes when it comes to either it's building your brand or it's investing in knowledge, if you don't invest in yourself, then who will? You, and I think it's so important to make sure, because it's like when you're on that airplane and they tell you to put your own mask on before helping others. You gotta look to you, and then we can go out and help others.
Said so well. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. For you, all the viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I want you to know that you're amazing, every single one of you. You're incredible, every single one of you. For you, the best is yet to come, because now you're going to discover your attributes, who you are, who you represent. That's important. Number two, I know for you, today is your January 1st, because you can hit the reset button. You get a do-over, and you can reintroduce yourself or reintroduce the brand all over again, and that is cool. And I know for you, the future is so bright. The road is smooth. Put your sunglasses on, because for you, the best is yet to come. The best is still yet to come. The best is yet to come. With that being said, for those folks that want to know who's doing all that screaming, who's doing all that yelling, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. Remember, time is long, so long. Life, on the other hand, is very, very short. You got to live in the moment, and you got to make it count. God bless, and we wish you success. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. We're out of here. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to what? We've got to go. By the way, they're out there saying thanks so much. Regina saying you definitely have to have a schedule. Alicia says it was a pleasure checking out your segment. Christina, they're out there. Hit the heart button, hit the like button. Look, we got to go. I'm out. Peace. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless.